How should I handle my manager who insists on changing production data himself in order to fix immediate application issues? All my advice and coaching is ignored. Okay, so I've run into this problem too over my career, where I've had people, not necessarily managers, sometimes it's managers, sometimes it's the company owner. I worked with one client where the company owner would go into the SQL Server from time to time and fix things, and we know how some of those fixes went. So the thing that's worked the best for me is to sit down with the person who's doing the interfering and say, or the interfering, or the doing the things you don't want them to do, and say, okay, how can I best support you in your role? What is it that I can do as, database administrator, architect, whatever it is that you're doing? What's the best thing that I can do to support you in your role? And their answer may be to stay out of the way. Their answer may be, I only hired you to do the things that I can't do myself. And then that helps you kind of get this stuff out in the air so that everybody's on the same page. Sometimes they don't want to be doing the work. It's just that they don't trust you. And being in that, closed private room there suddenly helps open people's eyes and helps them take the poker face off and be more honest with you about why they're not letting you do the work, why they don't trust your advice. As a consultant, I have the weird role where I can tell people if they're not taking my advice. I can sit in that private room and go, okay, look here, how can I best serve you? Because I've tried giving you a few pieces of advice, but you're not taking that advice. I don't want to waste your time if you're not going to take my advice. I'm not going to give you that advice anymore. Is there anything left that you need me to do in this relationship in order to move this thing forward? And maybe you're working on the wrong stuff. Maybe you're working on things that they didn't hire you to do. I've also had client relationships end that way, where someone says, you know what, I think I've got it all under control. I'm going to run with it from here. In which case I'm like, go with God, good luck. But if you want me to make things fast while you're actively working against me, and I'll give you an example. This is turning into a long video. Giving you an example. Company brought me in order to improve performance, and we're working together in a conference room. There are a bunch of us in there looking at the SQL Server, troubleshooting. I said, right now it's slow because there's someone running a backup from their desktop. I don't know who this login is, but does anyone know who this login is? And everybody kind of looks around at each other, and it was the CEO. And I was like, well, that seems odd. Why would the CEO be running a backup from their desktop? I said, let's go ask. And they're like, we shouldn't do that. And I'm like, no, we actually should. So we go in and ask, and the guy's on the phone. So I just, talk with his secretary and wait. And as soon as the phone calls over, I'm like, hey, I see that you're running a backup on the SQL Server.